Simon Jack Chapter 9 Grandfather. The grandfather that is before he died was a strange man, to put it simply. A crazy, odd man that always dressed in olive green military outfits. He was buried in such an outfit. On the outside, to the public, grandmother and grandfather had the perfect relationship, but on the inside, as grandmother worked, grandfather would watch TV, happily reclined in his recliner as the world went by. Each slept in different beds. During the day, they were more of strangers to each other than you and me. However, as the sun sets, you would find grandmother and grandfather at the table, playing cards and eating cake. Gossiping as they accused the other of cheating in cards. Some nights this would be so bad that one is the other, would end up with a fork in the hand. Now, I know many of my readers, my constant readers, have either been to a hen party or have been part of one. Others would call this bridge night or some other name that just represents a gathering of women or men that would gossip about anything or anyone. The Red River had many, and I am sure even the old cat lady would gather her cats around to poke fun at the people of our little town. Days after my incident with the yellow balloons, they found the cat lady half-eaten in her house. As with most little places, you can call or schedule grocery deliveries on any number days of the week, and a boy would bring them out just like the milkman or whoever would be dropping off the local newspapers. In our town, a young man that went by the name Tom had this job. He would bring the older people's groceries out, so they didn't have to carry them or make the trip out if they didn't want to. All you had to do was make the call. The cat lady had Tom bring out cat food every Monday. In her older years, the bags just got too hard for her to deal with. Tom would load up the bags of cat food every Monday morning on his three-wheeled bicycle and head out to the lady's house. As Tom pulled into her rocky driveway, a line of cats was there to greet him, watching him as he unloaded the cat food, and set each bag on the front porch. Each time Tom makes a scheduled delivery, he has to have someone sign to say it was dropped off. Tom went to the door, knocking only to find the door was open. From the door you could see the entryway into the kitchen. On the floor he saw the woman's hand, or part of it, clutching a rotary phone that hung from the wall. Tom quickly entered, calling her name. "Susan, are you okay? Can you hear me? Should I call for help?" There was no answer. Tom stepped over broken glass, cat pictures, and little knickknacks filled the rooms. The scene was indescribable, cats everywhere. They had pulled little parts off of Susan, bones showed through her fingers. 3 little black and white kittens looked up at Tom as they licked blood off their paws. She must have been like this for some time. Susan was in bad shape, and the only one she had much contact with was Tom and her renters. When the police showed, they thought she may have been murdered. Things didn't add up, with the broken glass, the open door. To add on top of this, they couldn't find the new renters. Most recently, a woman with her 3 children moved into Susan's rental house, but after a careful search of the locked rental house, the women's stuff was still in the house, kids' toys in their rooms. Other than their things, they only found bloody cat prints, a set of 3, the same 3 that Tom had seen licking their paws. Before grandfather passed away, Tom helps out a bunch. He would bring out medications and food when he got in a bad way. The wars had made grandfather a tough old man. He smoked cools, which he would hide under his olive baseball cap. Once he thought he was dying. That is before he died. Grandmother had got on to him about his smoking, so she would check under his cap every time he was about to go outside or out for a ride. For about a week, he seemed worried, extremely upset, and finally broke down in front of grandmother. "My hat is too big. My head has gotten smaller," he said with a look of extreme worry to grandmother. "I told you, old man, that smoking was going to catch up with you," she said with a grin on her face. Grandfather started acting funny, just wasn't himself for a few days after that. I guess he thought he had brain cancer or something was eating away at him. from the inside. This was the first time I had seen him break down in tears. He even started spending more time with me. It was starting to get strange. Then one night after grandmother had gone to town, she reached into her pocket during one of their nightly games. In grandmother's hand was a pack of cool cigarettes. She reached over, took his cap off and stuck them on his head and put the hat back on, laughing as she did. It must have dawned on grandfather that his head has always been that size. Grandmother looked at her old man, and told him to get the smokes out of the house. Getting up, he looked back at me. Son, just remember, most of the time they're already 2 steps ahead of you. Mumbling to himself as he went outside, the only snake a man can ever love. I looked up at grandmother, somewhat confused. Honey, she said, that silly old relic used to keep his cigarettes under his cap. The murder of Susan seemed to cover Red River with a dark fog, on of paranoia and confusion. The tributaries' headlines would read the next day: Red River's crazy cat lady murdered, police suspect kittens. And then it came to me, right under the main headline: The Starlings kill 3. The Starlings was a motorcycle gang my grandfather warned me about when he was still alive. Could this be the work of a gang that calls themselves the Starlings? Grandfather once told me, behind the fog of Red River, just like in any town, you will find evil, evil at its heart. I saw the fog as more of a supernatural Jack in the Box, with a bunch of dummies at the crank. As with any place, we had our fill of racist bigots and the like. He warned me before he died, that until things change for the better, you would have to be careful who you hung out with. This made me think of Lily and her mother. Lily came from a mixed family. And I bet the word got around the slums. The leader of the gang went by the name Inker. His group made it a mission to find different people, abduct them, abuse and do unspeakable things to them. People that got away claimed the reason he went by the name the Inker. He would hold down his victims and tattoo a spade on some part of their body before he turned his group on them. We still haven't found Lily's mother.